Hello, welcome to the module of data ingestion and management, and in this video we are going to talk about the data ingestion types. In this video we are going to focus first on an overview of the various data ingestion types. Then we will be talking about in brief about the real-time data ingestion concepts, followed by the batch-based data ingestion. Then we will be talking about in brief on the Lambda architecture based data ingestion methodology, and also we will be talking about the data ingestion versus the ETL concepts. So let's get started. A core capability of the data lake or big data analytics architecture is to quickly and to easily ingest the multiple types of data. So real-time streaming of the data, that's whenever we have been performing into, so that being involves like consuming of the messages from either the queue or the file-based storage. That's to involve also like processing those messages and forward the results to the another message queue, file store or databases. The processing may also involve like the querying, filtering and aggregating these messages. It can involve like streaming of the messages or the stream processing engine that should be able to consume these endless streams of the data and can produce the results with minimal latency. The structured data which has been generated and it has to be processed by the legacy on-premise platforms like mainframes and the data warehouses, and it also involves like the structured and the semi-structured data files, involves into like images, text files and the media files. The real-time data ingestion is basically it's a process of collecting and transferring data from source systems to real-time using the solutions like as change data capture. The real-time processing deals with the streams of data which are captured in real time and processed with minimal latency to generate the real-time and near real-time reports and responses. The real-time processing is also has been defined as a processing of unbounded streams of input data with very short latency requirements of processing measured in milliseconds. Now let's talk about the batch-based data ingestion process. In big data analytics scenario, the batch processing may operate over very large datasets where the computation takes over the significant amount of time. The batch processing typically leads to further interactive exploration, providing the modeling of the data and writes it back to the analytical data store which has been optimized for analytics and visualization. The batch processing engine is being evolved to transform the large set of the flat semi-structured dataset which could be CSV or JSON files into schematized and structured format that can be made ready to for the further querying purposes. Now let's talk about the Lambda architecture based data ingestion policy. The Lambda architecture is based on the principles of data that could be pushed into both the batch and the speed layer. The batch layer has the master dataset like immutable append-only set of raw data, and it just being helps to pre-compute the batch views. Whereas the serving layer has the batch views involves into the fast queries. The speed layer just compensates for the processing time, and also all the queries could be comprehended by merging the results from the batch views and the real-time views. Now let's talk about the core differences between data ingestion with the ETL policy. Data ingestion acts as a backbone for the extract, transform, load or the core ETL policy by efficiently handling the large volumes of big data. But often, without proper transformation, it's not efficient in itself to meet the needs of a modern enterprise. ETL is a special case of data ingestion in which it just helps to insert a series of data transformation in between the data that could be extracted from the source and could be loaded into the target location. ETL transformation can help in the data aggregation, it can help in the proper data cleansing, data deduplication, joining, splitting, summarization and validation. Now let's see a very quick demo on the data ingestion policies, like for example the batch data ingestion policy. So for this, let me switch back to my Azure portal, and here in the Azure portal, say for example I've already been landed into my Azure Blob Storage account, where within the containers I've been interested to upload some batch processing files. So here, like once I click on select file, I can just paste over some link of my dataset, and suppose I want to upload a weblog data, and clicking on upload will be basically going ahead and helping me to upload the weblog data file that I have just got uploaded as a part of the batch data ingestion process in this Azure storage account. Now once these files got uploaded, you could be able to see the various details of this uploaded files, like in terms of the properties, in terms of its SAS policies, in terms of its ACL policies, the various kinds of details you could be able to find over that. Say suppose you want to just go ahead and you want to manage the ACL, means the access control policies for this uploaded blob. So you want to just set and manage the permissions for the root directories. That's a blob that has got being added. So you can just check over the default permissions that specifies the default ACL, the permissions for the new children over the directory in Azure Data Lake Storage. We can also change the default ACL which doesn't affect the children that doesn't exist, or we can also access also the permission in terms of the default level permission policies for this batch data file that has been uploaded into Azure Data Lake Storage. We can also check over this shared access token policies, like the various kinds of the tokens that is associated to access this Data Lake Storage. We can see the metadata, the properties. So all these details we could be able to find over once we have uploaded the data set into Azure Data Lake Storage as part of the batch data process ingestion methodology. So there are basically two kinds of data ingestion processing available. That is, one is like this kind of batch data processing scenario where we can upload the data either as part of the batch data ingestion methodology through Azure Data Lake Storage, Azure Blob Storage, through Spark SQL. We can manage and upload the data set, or we can also use like the kind of data storage scenario, or as a kind of the data streaming methodology, that where we can just stream over the data through various real kind streaming engine as part of our services like Azure. Typically, like we can use like Azure Event Hub, Event Grid, Azure Spark Streaming, so those kind of streaming services. So in this video we have covered like the different kinds of the data ingestion services available typically like on Azure platform. And I hope this video has been informative for you, and I look forward to see you in the next video. Thanks for your time.